What do you think the key ballot question was when people were voting? What was the issue or personality trait, or what was on their mind that they checked Danielle Smith instead of Rachel Notley?
I think that what the NDP wanted to make it about was a series of lies, saying that we were going to make people pay for a family doctor, that we were going to steal their pension. And we were able to say, well, you can vote for that, which is clearly not going to happen, or you can vote for us and make sure that your job is protected, the economy is protected. And I think that the NDP made a major blunder when they promised that they were going to increase corporate income taxes again. Yeah. That, to me, gives me confidence that people see through what an NDP government has to offer. Because if you remember when they got elected in 2015, they were straight up about it, that they were going to hit corporations and they were going to hit high-income earners, and they did. Yeah. And then what happened? We ended up with a massive flight of capital, decrease in the economy. It took years for us to be able to get that investment back. The fact that they had to hide it, didn't want to come clean on it, didn't do the analysis of how much jobs would be lost or how much investment would be lost. I think that Albertans were able to see through that, and they didn't want to go back to that.
People from other provinces are coming to Alberta. Mm-hmm. Are you getting the freedom-oriented entrepreneurial class? Or are you getting sort of refugees from socialism who are bringing some of those socialist ideas with them? Like in the States, a lot of Californians move to Texas, and there's a saying, "Don't California my Texas." Are the Ontarians and others coming here? How would you describe them in terms of their political culture?
The ones I meet, and because I do a lot of events and do photo lineup, and the number of people who tell me, I'm here from Ontario, or I'm here from Manitoba, or I'm here from BC, I would say that it's probably a mix. But I think that what we're putting out there is what Alberta has always put out there, that we are a place where you can be free to start a business, employ people, keep more of what you earn, raise a family, practice your faith in your own way. Yeah. And we try to take we'll leave you alone. We want to be able to get out of your business, but make sure that we create an environment for you to prosper. And I think people are responding to that. It also helps that we have a relatively low cost of housing as well. I know it's still an issue because as people come in and we don't have the housing stock, it is pushing prices up. But you compare that to Vancouver, you compare that to Toronto, where young families can't even dream of being able to own a home. And so I think that that's another factor as well.
I think one of the turning points, last question about the election, I think a turning point was the debate. And my theory for that is people saw an unfiltered version of you for an hour or so that was not editorialized or cut into clips by a CBC producer. Mm-hmm. And so they could compare really seeing you with how you were being demonized by the media party. That's my theory, is that when they finally saw you without the filter of the CBC, they liked you. What do you think about my theory there?
Oh, I think you're right. I think people tuned in because they were given an image of what I was like. And I think what happened is it didn't match. When they saw that I was reasonable and I knew the policies I wanted to run on, I was confident. And I think that contrasted with my opponent, who was clearly running to be official opposition leader again. She was not running to be premier. But one of the things that I get told all the time is you're not at all the way the media depicts you. And I think that's an indictment of the media. The media's job is to depict a person fairly and accurately and with balance. And I would say that the mainstream media has failed on that. And I encourage them to go back to journalistic principles, and maybe they'll actually manage to attract back some viewers and audience if they did so. But I just can't believe that the mainstream media have decided that they aren't interested in giving content for 53% of the population that voted for me. They should be interested in having that balanced discussion where you've got content that matters to those who are more on the progressive side of the spectrum, and have content that's on the conservative side of the spectrum. They I think, unfortunately, have gone a different path, and I think it's showing in the lack of support that they're getting.
That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.